Y'all, I'm officially at level 5, 600 hours. Alright you guys, I'm at 600 hours and we have so much to talk about. So I do have my iPad here because I want to make sure that I am staying the course because I have a lot to talk about. Obviously, this is my first official update with hours. So I'm so excited. Oh my god, I'm finally here. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Just some of my background with streaming Spanish itself. Originally, I did start learning Spanish very seriously January of last year, so 2023. I did have some experience with Spanish already through high school and college, but it was very on and off. And then I decided to actually pick it back up. And yeah, I, like most people who are just starting to learn a language again, you just kind of go traditional. At least I did. And so yeah, I was doing the grammar books, textbook. I had my little vocabulary flashcards on Spanish dictionary. I was doing like the little podcasts that would kind of like talk to you about Spanish grammar and vocabulary. I was doing all that type of stuff. I did telenovelas, and I was also doing Dreaming Spanish through YouTube. So I did not have an account at all, and I would just like, whenever they'd upload a new video, I would watch it, and that was the extent of that. I did a lot of Italki lessons, and yeah. What ended up changing everything for me was this year in January, so January 2024, I officially moved to Chile, and I was nowhere where I wanted to be at all after a year of learning Spanish. I was not happy with where I was at, and so I started to learn more. I started to do a little bit more research through YouTube, not anything official, but like Joe Renee Languages and Lisa and Greg. Those were accounts where they were very much input based. And so I got really interested, especially through Lisa and Greg, about, because I was already doing Dreaming Spanish, like I said, but free. And so I was kind of like, what is this about? Because I ended up going through a rabbit hole, or I ended up going down a rabbit hole. And it was just a lot of, wow, a lot of really good things that people were saying. And I was kind of like at a point where I'm like, I have nothing to lose. You know, at first I was very skeptical because I had heard about it a little bit, the comprehensible input last year, but I obviously was very skeptical about it and was like, okay, like I get out, can help with listening, but like nothing else. But yeah, after that I was just kind of like, I have nothing else to lose. So on February 1st, I officially made my account and I started getting an hour a day in on Dreaming Spanish. And yeah, here we are now, finally, like 4 or 5 months, 6 months, I'm not really good at math, later, I'm finally at 600 hours. So here I am. Oh yeah, something I wanted to mention was, whenever I initially made my account, I did start myself at 300 hours or level 4, just because I really fit the description. I fit the description really well. And so yeah, I was sensitive to that though, and I did try to kind of pay attention to what other people would kind of say about being at that level, just in case I overestimated and needed to take some hours away. However though, I've been pretty on par with everybody else, as well as with the roadmap. So I ended up keeping it. And yeah, now that I'm at 600 hours, I still definitely agree that I'm on the right track. So I did good estimating. But anyways, the road to 600 was a long one. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a long one. Because on a level, I was still getting used to comprehensible input, and while I was doing the hour a day of Dreaming Spanish, at some point I realized I need to do more. So like February, I did like an extra 10 hours, but by the time March rolled around, I was getting more and more familiar with everything, and I was doing different YouTube videos like Spanish with Josie, and sometimes I would do Spanish after hours or just whatever caught my interest. I've always kind of been a reader, I'm not gonna lie. I did like graphic novels, a lot of webtoons, things like that. I've done 2 children's novels this year, and yeah, I'm just gonna continue with that. I've never really been shy to be dabbling in native content. I'm not going to lie. I obviously am not a purist at all, and so I care more about what's going to keep me interested, and a lot of the times native content is that. Sometimes content for learners just is like making my eyes glaze over, so then I'll do some things in native content. If everything's going over my head, I just turn it off. It's not that deep. So everything I have used for native content for input are things that I'm able to understand what's going on. I'm never lost. So yeah, that's kind of the journey here. By the last 50 hours, I started dabbling in advanced because I couldn't do it anymore. I had already went through all of Michelle's videos. Michelle's my favorite guide. And so whenever I got to that point, I was like, I need more. And so yeah, I did start getting into advanced a little bit, which was so exciting. It was like I opened up a treasure chest of new videos I loved it. I love seeing all of Michelle's videos because it's like, oh my god, Michelle, we're back, we're back, we're back. Oh my god, I love her. And like her video with Alexa, her video with like the different mugs, like she gets it. She gets it. So yeah, I don't know. I was very excited to be in advance, even though I went a little bit early, but it was chill for me personally. And so yeah, that was kind of the road to 600 for me. I did do some classes here and there, italki, preply. A lot of them usually were focused on just speaking practice, which I was not consistent with at all. But moving forward, now that we're at 600, that is one of my goals, to make speaking a lot more consistent in my daily life, I guess. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the roadmap. Let's see how well I compare to it. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can kind of like follow along to what I'm looking at. But level 5 right off the bat says you can understand native speakers speaking to you normally. You would understand people when they speak to you directly. I don't know. It's like, yeah. But I will say at this point, I'm very voice sensitive, and I notice that it's like my understanding of a lot of things just goes away if the person is very elderly or if the person is very small, like if we're talking tiny children. Like, I don't know, Peppa Pig wasn't that hard, but for some reason in real life, like I can't with children's voices, and it's on the other end of that, it's hard for me with the elderly. I don't know, but other than that, I will say it's really not that difficult for me to understand normal speed Spanish. That is very true. It's not difficult at all. I would say maybe the only time I'm thrown off a lot in Spanish is when somebody comes up to me randomly and starts speaking to me. Like sometimes like I'll have like people on the street, or like the other day like somebody like randomly came up to me and like asked me where I got my water from, because I had like a bottle of water in the store, and I was like, huh? And I don't know if that has to do with my comprehension or if that's just the way I am, because I'm very much that way in English. Like if somebody starts speaking to me off guard in English, I'm like, huh? Like run that back. So yeah, I would say in those moments it's definitely awkward, but other than that, I really don't have any issue with it, to be honest. Understanding a conversation between native speakers is still hard. This one's not true for me either. I would honestly say it's very easy. A lot of my in-person input does happen to be between native speakers just speaking amongst themselves, and I'm just kind of there. For example, whenever I'm at the table with my partner and his family, they're all speaking in Spanish, and so I am kind of just used to tuning in, and a lot of the times I am able to understand what they're talking about. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. We are not there yet. However, I'm very rarely in a situation where I'm just totally lost. A lot of the times I'm not totally lost. I know what's going on. And even just last week, one of my friends had a little get together for her birthday. I, of course, was the only one there who doesn't have Spanish as a first language. And so the entire table, it was like 6 of us, 7 of us, 8 of us at one point, like just so many people at once, just having conversations in Spanish. And we were there for like 5 hours, and it was chill. I was never fully lost. I will say by like the last like 2 hours, my brain was going into fatigue mode. I will say that. But once again, I was never like, like I was good. So, yeah, I would say it's really not hard. It's just that obviously I still have more words to acquire. I'm not fluent at all. So for that reason, it could be seen as difficult, but it's never like, oh, this is too much, I don't know what's going on at all. It's never like that. You'll understand TV programs in the language, but they're so hard enough to leave you frustrated or bored. This one really depends. Sometimes there are shows where I really don't understand what's going on at all, and then there are other ones where I'm like good. During this time, I did do Peppa Pig, really good experience. I did Winx Club, I watched that, really good experience. I didn't really do any telenovelas. I kind of started watching Las Soñadoras, I think is the name. I don't remember right now. It's like old 90s telenovela from Mexico, and like I love that one. Like it was one of the first ones I started watching last year, and like because it would just come on TV randomly, and it's so bad, y'all. It's so bad, but like I love 90s vibes, so I kind of ate it up. And yeah, that one was a little bit more on the difficult side, but it wasn't like I was totally lost either. I will say, whenever it comes to telenovelas and whenever it comes to movies, I do allow myself to use the subtitles in Spanish. This is because I do the same thing in English. I like English subtitles whenever I'm watching something on Netflix or a movie, whatever, and so I allow myself that same experience in Spanish. And so yeah, cartoons and stuff, no, though I don't use subtitles obviously whenever I'm doing Dreamy Spanish. No. So it is in a very strict talking telenovelas, talking, movies. Conversation can be tiresome, and if you try to speak, you still feel like a bit like a child. 100%. 100%. It is tiresome. I have felt myself at some moments. I was going to speak Spanish today and I just gave up. So yeah, it's definitely still difficult, and it is kind of frustrating because it is kind of that I am kind of at that moment where it's all coming together in my brain. There are some times where I'm having like a full conversation, or like I don't know, like I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that does this, but sometimes like I'm like sitting there like with my own monologue. Like I have a podcast and it's in Spanish and I'm doing great. I'm like, oh my god, I can express myself so well. Like I really do know Spanish. And then whenever it's time to speak, it's like, hi, my second birthday was 2 weeks ago and I'm trying my best. So yeah, it's definitely, it doesn't come out the way that it is in my brain. And so yeah, moving forward, it's definitely on my list to take speaking way more seriously. Living in a Spanish speaking country really doesn't, if you're an introverted person like me, it really doesn't give you a boost because it's really not that difficult to get away with minimal Spanish. It's really not. It's just kind of like that. And I do have my partner, so it's like if things ever get very extensive, it's not that hard to be like, you're fluent, you can say it. Being an introvert, it's really not hard for you to find loopholes. I would say that I don't have an advantage living in a Spanish speaking country for that reason, because it is kind of me against me. And so yeah, that's why moving forward, speaking is definitely going to be something that I want to take way more seriously. So yeah, and at this very last part, you can speak with the correct intonation, patterns of the language, yada yada yada. This one I will say I think I'm doing pretty good at. In some of my past lessons, like on Preply and italki and things like that, I have gotten several compliments from tutors about my accent. I've had some who were surprised I'm from the United States and things like that. So I would say we're doing good. Unfortunately, I am somebody who cares a lot about accent, and I do say unfortunately, because I feel like sometimes it's so much and it kind of gets in my way, because I'm like, if I'm not going to sound good, I don't want to speak at all, which is like obviously goes against each other. But yeah, for somebody who started speaking way before the roadmap and to get compliments like that, I don't know, something's working. Something's working. But yeah, so that's just kind of my comparison on the roadmap so far. I would say we're doing good. We are doing good. So now it is time for the road to 1,000. I honestly thought I would probably get to around 800 hours by the end of this year, but now that I'm already at 600, 1,000 definitely seems doable. And I have a trip at the end of the year to Mexico City, which I'm so excited for, you guys. And so I really, really want to be at 1,000 hours because I feel like it would be the perfect little milestone moment to go to Mexico City. I've always wanted to go. I just love Mexico so much, and it's very special to me in the way that a lot of my Spanish learning journey was very influenced by Mexican culture in the very beginning of it. So it is just kind of like special to be like, now I'm in Mexico City. And after seeing like all of Michelle's videos in Mexico City, it's like, how can you not want to go? How can you not want to go? So yeah, I think it would be perfect timing, and I can definitely do it. I did like the little Excel sheet thing. I don't know who made it. I'm very, very sorry for that. I'll have it in the description box. I guess it's on the side now. I don't know. YouTube's like always updating. But anyways, if I do like 2.5, 3 hours a day, I will make it. So 1,000, here we come. And so on the road to 1,000, how do I plan to get there? So for sure, my biggest thing is try to do 3 hours every day. 90 of those minutes being dreaming Spanish, because I'm paying for it. So I'm like, yes, I'm about to make sure I get my dreaming Spanish in. I'm about to get what I'm paying for. So fully. My goal is to kind of do like the first 20 minutes in beginner and just kind of go back to videos that talk about things that I'm not very familiar with, just to kind of continue to grow my vocabulary and topics that I don't love or aren't exactly interested in, because I do want to be well-rounded in Spanish. And then yeah, the rest of the time just do it interchangeably between intermediate and advanced. I also want to do 30 minutes of reading. Like I said, I've always kind of been reading in Spanish, but I do want to make sure I'm doing it way more consistently. Right now I am reading another graded reader, Fantasmas del Pasado. It's in the beginning, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't take it anymore. I'm done with graded readers. Oh, it's by Juan. I never remember his last name, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but whatever, I'll have the little picture on the screen. It's like B1 level. It's extremely easy. In the beginning though, I was not feeling it, and I was like, I can't continue. But as I've been reading it, it's actually not that bad. But I think I'm still downgraded readers just because native content is just so much more enjoyable. It just is. But I do have to give it to him because his book is a lot better than that Ollie Richards one. And that's just that on that. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. But I do have the second Ollie Richards one, which is like the intermediate one. And since it's already paid for and bought and in my home, I'm like, I think I will try. I think I will try, but I cannot promise that it will be finished. Unless a miracle has happened and those stories are good, it probably won't work out between us. But anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna finish that one by Juan, and then I am just going to really just start dipping my toes into novels for children. I'll continue with the webtoons just because I enjoy them, and webtoons are really accessible, y'all, if that's something you're interested in, because even though they're made for native speakers, it's really not that difficult, especially because the language is a lot less flowery and, you know, pretty than novels tend to be, where in webtoons you are just kind of having daily speech between characters. So I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. I am gonna continue with telenovelas and obviously just, you know, different YouTubers here and there. Spanish with Josie being one of my main ones. I love to always go back to. Right now, me and my partner are watching Silvana Sin Lana. Y'all, it is so bad. It is so bad. But I can understand like 90% of it, and I just keep coming back for more. It's like one of those ones that's like so bad that you just keep coming back for more. It's so low budget. It's the story's terrible. All of the characters, I can't stand any of them. Except for maybe, nah. None of them are that. None of them are good. They're terrible. I don't know, the mom's like okay sometimes. But anyways, yeah. Me and my partner are eating that one up, and it is based off of is not even like the right way to say it. Like it's literally stolen, because like we've watched some clips of the original, which is from Chile. It's called Pituca Sin Lucas, which I think is so funny. Like that is such a Chilean title. Like I can't. But yeah, it's like basically a carbon copy of the original. But anyways, we're watching the one, I guess it's from the United States because it's filmed in Miami. And yeah, it's on Peacock, and I guess you can also get it for free through NBC or something like that. I saw it in the Discord, so yeah. I'm like in the Discord and the Reddit, but like I don't speak. I'm just there to read. What else? I think moving forward, it's just gonna be a lot of that. I am deep, y'all. I am deep into that telenovela, so I'm just gonna kind of keep that going on for here on out. Also with podcasts, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm not a big podcast person. When I was on my way to 600, I really tried my best. I kind of started listening to Chill Spanish a lot, which was very easy, but it was one of the ones that caught my attention. But these days, I'm pretty consistent with How to Spanish Podcast and Bien y Iva. Those are two that I really enjoy. Bien y Iva is native level, but it is pretty accessible in my opinion. So if that's something that interests you, I would rec. And yeah, that's basically it. One last thing is I did watch 100,000 Species of Bees. I'm going somewhere with this. First of all, beautiful film. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I love it so much. Thank you, Joe Renee, for the rec, because seriously, I loved it so much. The Tia. Oh, I loved her. But it was a film that I really thought that like I wasn't gonna be able to understand at all, and I understood literally 90% of it. So y'all, don't doubt your abilities. You can do it. We got this. Like seriously, it works. It really works. But because of seeing that film, I ended up getting a subscription to Filmin, which is from Spain, I guess, because they were doing a 3-month summer special, and it was like not 10 euros for 3 months. So I was like, absolutely, like this will give me more content, this will give me more exposure, and like a lot of the movies are like more artsy and like kind of cool like that. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty good deal for 3 months of movies. So I think for the next 3 months, a lot of my, or really 2 months at this point, because I got it, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm not good at math. But yeah, a lot of my input will also be coming from movies as well. Good luck to everybody who's also on a journey of language learning, whether it's through Dreaming Spanish or other languages, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.